EEE EDC back again with another knife video. This is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and this knife, you are correct, has been reviewed to death. So why watch this one? Well, I'm going to be talking about its current place in the market more than I am just a regular review. Also, this one, just to point out right off the bat, has been heavily modified. Number one, this is a lynch clip on the back of here, and it's also got custom scales from Shepherd CC Customs. These are lightning strike carbon fiber scales. And this is a 20 CV version. This is the DLT exclusive that came with the brown scales, but now obviously it's sporting these. So just keep that in mind. This is not a stock one from the factory, but it's still worth reviewing and talking about where it sits in the market, because I've held the stock ones, I've used the stock ones, I've owned the stock ones, and I'm going to talk about where the stock ones sit in the market relative to some of the other ones that are coming out as well. So first of all, this knife has been out quite a while. One of the real reasons it took off, there's two real reasons it took off. One was the compression lock. The compression lock obviously is this lock right here. It is basically a reverse liner lock. You know, as you can see, it engages right here. You push the back and the blade does not deploy or not deploy, but it does not close in the path of your fingers. Your fingers are out of the way. That was one of the main benefits of it. It also happens to be a little fidgety. When you do it, you can fidget back and forth with it without your fingers being in the blade path. So that was another one of the innovations that this knife had. Also, this was a great use, and still is a great use, of Spyderco's Spider Hole. It gives you, it's a great knife to Spidey flick with that middle finger flick. You can always flick with pretty much every finger. As you can see, you can flick with basically every finger. I'll even do the pinky finger here, although it's a little difficult on camera. There you go. But yeah, it's got, it's definitely got that fidget factor. It's got that compression lock. It's got a full flat grind that with a decent stock blade that still gets very, very slicey. And it's also very ergonomic. So I mentioned two things, but there's really a number of things that were great about this knife. As far as ergonomics goes, it's ergonomic in really two positions. One is the regular position where you see my fingers with my large glove-sized hands are hitting in all the right spots, and then it's got this great ergonomic jimping where the spider hole is that really locks your hand in and locks the knife in. There's also the forward grip where you're gripped up on the half choil here, and it really gets in nice. It feels great on the forward two fingers, your pointer, your middle finger, and your thumb, although it feels a little odd holding the back two fingers. The knife itself, like I said, has been around quite a while. The biggest drawback and really the biggest criticism I think most people have over this knife is the blade to handle ratio. As you guys can see, you know, the Spyderco, I'm sorry, the Benchmade Bugout has almost the same cutting edge and packs it into a much smaller package. And that's because of two reasons. One, there's no half choil, and two, the handle is not made with just an eye toward ergonomics. It's made with an eye toward being light and just being sort of a universal handle. So, where does this currently sit in the market? Well, for that, we really have to talk about the price. And the price on these used to be great. The price was, you know, I think anywhere from around 100 to 120 bucks, depending on time of year and when, you know, and whether there was a deal going on. Every once in a while, you'd see deals on here that got this maybe even under 100 at around $99. But then the Spider Apocalypse happened in 2018. December of 2018, January 2019, there were massive price hikes for Spyderco. Then it happened again in 2019. And so, you know, everyone talks about Benchmade having the butterfly tax, or at least, you know, I think Nick Shabazz is the one that maybe coined the term butterfly tax, but perhaps he did, perhaps he didn't. But the butterfly tax essentially means you're paying for the brand name. And that's essentially what's happened with Spyderco, that you're paying for a spider tax, because this $100 to $120 knife now costs $150 for the stock model, which comes in S30V, and you know, you'll pay more for the DLC version. And then there's you know, it's been a great vehicle for a whole bunch of different steels. So you know, you constantly have new steels coming out. There's a DLT trading exclusive coming out very soon with purple scales and purple G10 scales and DLC Cru-Wear blade. And that's going, I think it's around 185 or 190 bucks or something like that. I don't have the exact price, but as you can see, they really, you know, range from that $150 price point up to, you know, almost $200 now. And so that puts it in slightly a different category than it was. And a lot of people's thinking hasn't adjusted to that. So where do I think it is in today's market? Well, I'm going to tell you that the stock model is still, it's no longer a bargain. And it's no longer, you know, at 150 bucks, you're looking at stiff competition from a lot of other knives. So you're looking at a lot of things like the Giant Mouse. Giant Mouse has a lot of knives in M390 that are going to be at that price range. You're looking at We Knives has a lot of really, really good knives in that price range. The regular Griptilian, but with the premium version of the Griptilian, not the DLT trading exclusive, which is this, because this one's like 230. But there's the gray G10 with the blue liners and the 20 CV blade. That one goes for, you know, maybe sometimes the same price as a base model, the S30V version of the PM2, and sometimes it goes a little bit higher, just again depending on time of year. But the fact that you can get, you know, get a classic knife like the Griptilian and get that in 20 CV and G10 for around the same price as you get S30V and G10 in the Paramilitary 2, just shows you that there is some stiff competition in there. Like I said, Giant Mouse is also doing M390 in that price range. We Knives is doing it both S35VN and M390 in that price range. You've got you've got even ProTech. ProTech just came out with the Malibu and in the $180 price range. Obviously, you've got the Benchmade 940 going up a little bit higher. And you've got this knife right here. You're not really that far off. You know, when you're at 150 or even at the upgraded models at 180, 190, this is 200, right? This TRM Atom is 200. And I'm going to tell you right now, this TRM Atom is a better knife than the Paramilitary 2. I might get some hate for that, but it is. I mean, let's be honest. Here, the fit and finish is better. This seems to be sort of a production where fit and finish is sometimes hit or miss. Spyderco's fit and finish is really pretty good, especially out of the Golden, Colorado and the Taichung factories, which this is a Golden, Colorado knife. But I will say that the centering is off sometimes on these. The action varies from knife to knife, whereas on these TRMs, I mean, every time you're just getting the exact same production standard, really, really high standards on the knife. You're getting 20 CV steel here. Like I said, you're getting premium materials, deep carry pocket clip. If I remember right, I think this is a titanium pocket clip, and you're just getting, like I said, those polished washers. So the polishing on the washers is a detail that you just don't get necessarily with a PM2. Now, does a PM2 need it? I mean, it still has really good action, as you can see from the compression lock, but so it doesn't necessarily need it, but it gives the knife a totally different, more premium feel to have that high polish on the washers. So you're just getting a lot of competition at that price range now, and more every day as new, you're seeing Kershaw push down they're using 20 CV steel in the Kershaw Link and in the Bareknuckle. Here, I don't have the Link anymore, but I've got the Bareknuckle here. This Bareknuckle has 20 CV, and this was $80. This sort of moves between $80 and $100. This is aluminum scales and 20 CV. And and so as this pushes that down, the Ace Iona, Giant Mouse Ace Iona, and some of the other Giant Mouses are $99 for M390. And you've got, S35VN and the Civivi Elementum now at around 80 bucks. So those steels are getting more and more pushed down. And so I think a lot of the PM2's popularity was because you could get it in so many different steels, in addition to the other things that I mentioned earlier. And a lot of those steels are really becoming available at much cheaper price points now. So is the Paramilitary 2 still a good knife? Yes. Is it a knife I recommend? Yes. But this is no longer a knife that I say, you know, hey, if somebody is going out and say, I want the absolute best value for my money knife that I can get, you know, what knife should I get? I'm not going to recommend the PM2. I'm just not. It's no longer that, because Spyderco has raised the price enough times on this that it no longer justifies that value rating. You know, my answer to, you know, the best value knife on the market right now, honestly, is probably this, the Kershaw Bareknuckle in 20 CV, when you can get it for something like 80 bucks. But there are some other ones that are close, and I'll do another video, you know, talking about the best value knives, top value knives on the market, and yeah, that'll be another video. Obviously, I've talked to you guys about the the CJRB Centros, which is D2, you know, and for 35 bucks, that's an incredible value. But this is a different tier than that CJRB. This is definitely a more premium tier than that CJRB. But as far as the tiers, I mean, honestly, this Bareknuckle is quite nice at the price range, and I don't necessarily know. I shouldn't say I don't know. I don't necessarily think that this is necessarily a lower tier than this. They're probably around the same tier now. This is one of the very few Kershaws I would say that about. Most of the Kershaws I would not say that about, so don't sit here and think that I'm saying Kershaw and Spyderco are the same. But this particular model is one of those where I think it's elevated itself, and this one has lowered itself from a value perspective because of the fact that they've had those price hikes. Also, one other thing of note, and I'm going to put out a separate video on this as well, but I'm going to show you a couple of knives that I think are better than the PM2. That's the Spyderco Para 3, this is the Spyderco Manix, and this is the Spyderco Shaman. So there are 3 knives within Spyderco's own lineup that I think are better than the PM2. And you'll see a head-to-head talk about these knives, like I said, in a separate video, and I'll explain my reasons why. But just keep in mind, these 2 knives are really, really well priced. You know, for what you're getting. There's still a Spyderco tax on them. Don't get me wrong; they were cheaper before, but they're not quite as high priced as this, and that's an important factor. The Shaman is its own beast, and we'll talk about that. Again, you know, so final thoughts on this. Is it a knife I recommend? Yes, but no longer the value it once was. Thanks for watching.